We're joined now by our Senior Counsel for Global Affairs, former Secretary of State Mike Pompeo. I want to jump right into it. Secretary Pompeo, so President Biden released 15 million barrels from the Strategic Petroleum Reserve. People are starting to learn that acronym now, SPR, as it's being used more and more. 3 weeks before the midterms, but he says it's not political in any way. I mean, it's almost laughable. What's your take on this move and this statement that it has nothing to do with politics?
Oh, goodness, Jordan. It's not almost laughable. It's completely laughable. And to your point on the acronym, I'd prefer the term now, I suppose, the Political Petroleum Reserve, the PPR. This was designed to send a message to the American people that they have a plan, when in fact we can see they clearly don't. And I'm staring at crude oil prices even as we speak. The release of 140 million barrels over the last year or so has put Brent crude at $92.70 and WTI at $85. It is not only political, but it's not working. And we know what would work. Delivering American energy, affordable American energy to the American people is what would work.
Well, the administration, you served as CIA Director and Secretary of State. The Democrats tried to block President Trump and the administration for refilling the SPR at about, this is just makes kind of sad, $20 a barrel. And that, again, was not good enough for Democrats. But now we're at a 40-year low in our reserve. I think Russia now has the highest reserve in the world, is what is being discussed. But President Biden said, what's great is we were using it at $90 a barrel. We can rebuy it at $70. I mean, that is how he's trying to spin it to the American people, Secretary.
The American people aren't buying it because they know the things that keep them safe. I do remember this issue very clearly when I was serving as a Secretary of State. That tool, that power that comes from having that energy reserve makes an awful lot of difference. And we were trying to build that reserve. When prices were really low, $25 a barrel, $20 a barrel, we were trying to continue to build on that strategic reserve. It's designed for the really bad moments for America, not for the bad political moments, but for the moments that threaten the American people. And sadly, now this has become a tool of politics in the waning days of an election. I don't think it's going to work politically. I know it's not going to work as a matter of reducing the cost for every family to heat their home and to drive their cars this winter. It's unfortunate that President Biden's gone this way. It's not good for the country.
The number, when they do release it, it sounds, 15 million barrels. But then you look at how many barrels of oil we use a day in the United States, somewhere around 19 million, close to 20 of just oil, and you realize then statistically these are eating it up. When he makes an announcement like this, that's gone in less than a day.
Yes, and as part of and the reason it's not impacting the global price for the product is because the world consumes about 100 million barrels a day. So think about that. About a couple of hours worth of global consumption of oil. A couple of hours, Jordan. It is absolutely insignificant in the global supply, and so it's not going to impact the lives. Are you still going to have high gas prices here in the United States? That's a direct policy choice. Chancellor Merkel made that choice for the Germans. She put the German people in a bad spot this winter. President Biden has made this bad choice for the American people, where he's going to give us a really tough winter, where everybody's going to get once a month. They're going to get their home heating bill, and it is going to be higher than they have seen in their adult lives. It is a policy choice. It is politics. It's not good for America, and we'll be less safe, and we'll have less wealth and prosperity here at home as well.
Yeah, Jordan. I mean, so you think if they stay on this path, which they've now announced that they're even going to do post-election, so they are playing politics with it, but even December they're going to release more. Could we end up like where Europe is right now, where we're facing that kind of level of crisis when it comes to energy and the cost of energy, or just the lack of it?
It ultimately certainly would be the case. Think about this, and we're in a better place here in America because we have the largest petroleum reserves underground per capita of any country in the world. But if you don't invest, if you don't continue to build out the infrastructure, the pipelines, the fabrication facilities that allow you to get the stuff out of all the stuff it takes, and you tell them, nope, if you do that, banks, if you lend to a fossil fuel producer, we're going to punish you with our ESG rules and our woke ideas of what energy ought to look like in the world. you'll have insufficient resources when that bad day comes, and that's where the Europeans find themselves today. We should look at this as a lesson to ourselves. And while we are not dependent on Russia, and we are very blessed, the Lord provided these resources. If we permanently put it underground and don't allow access to it for the American people, we'll find our prices this year being bad, and our prices in 2 years, 3 years, 4 years being things that no one can afford.
You also served in Congress, so I want to kind of, because you're on the campaign trail all across the country right now, trying to elect good conservatives to the House and to the Senate. And a lot of the questions we have coming in right now, and it's for people who are trying to get the vote out in their communities, as people are already voting right now. But every day from now on is like election day in many states across the country. So you never know what's going to be the last time you talk to someone before they're going to go cast their vote. But they are asking this pretty direct question, which is, if the House and Senate both went Republican, how could that impact the reserve? I mean, you saw it, how it could impact trying to purchase oil at $20 a barrel at the time under the Trump administration. The Democrats tried to oppose that. But could Republicans push Biden with the House and Senate to do something more than just stop the bleeding?
We can. We can. If we elect enough members of the House and the Senate, we can stop a lot of stupid stuff and put enormous pressure on the Biden administration to begin to get energy policy right. I think the American people are demanding that. Every place I go, Jordan, to your point, people can feel this. They can feel how it's impacting their lives. They can see that the last 20 months have been the wrong direction for the country. And I am convinced that when we elect the right conservative voices who are fearless fighters, who never give an inch, when we have folks who are prepared to actually do that every day, that we can certainly protect American energy in ways that we've not been able to do for these 20 months where the Democrats have had total control of the United States government.
I asked you to put your hat as a former congressman on, but I hat back on as former Secretary of State. We just saw today the shortest prime ministership come to an end in the UK. A lot of this related to some to Brexit, but a lot on the economy and economic positions put forward. With what happened with Liz Truss and what we're seeing in Europe, again, people don't want this to happen here. We don't want to see these fallouts here of our economy. But what is the significance of that she only was there, I think, 44 days?
Conservatives need to govern as conservatives. It's what, right? The Tory party, the Conservative Party in the United Kingdom, hasn't governed as a conservative party. When Prime Minister Truss took over, the match was already lit. And so we've seen what happened. The Brits, the French, the Germans are all going to suffer really tough winters. Their businesses, the small companies there, are going to have real trouble having natural gas necessary for them to continue to do the things they're doing. And I think Prime Minister Truss just got caught in the vortex of that. If she had, if she had stayed the course, manned the parapets, been prepared to actually deliver for the people of the United Kingdom, she might well still be Prime Minister.
Yeah, I mean, it's just a wild time. And Secretary Pompeo, we appreciate you coming on to help dissect it for all of us.